time for what's really hot. We talk about stories that have all of us talking.
We're joined by author and speaker Yolanda White, and Jeff Wagner is back with us. So it's not enough to graduate from college these days. Now dozens of universities want students to take an exit exam. Before graduating, those students will have to take a new standardized test. It's intended to give employers a measure of their abilities. Should college students have to take an exit exam? I say no.
As far as I'm concerned, unless they're serving margaritas on the way out, absolutely not. My exit exam was something called the law school admission test. Beyond that, I think if you do the coursework, you graduate, you move on, and then let the employers see what they're getting.
Well, I think the employers and the universities should take a test and determine what their jobs are, because we spend an inordinate amount of time. I just graduated at UWM in May, and we've spent about, I don't know, half a semester on a portfolio, and most universities are doing this now, and if employers aren't interested in seeing your portfolio, it's a waste of time. So some people got to get it together.
And I also think, too, some students don't do well with tests. So, and I'm not really sure that's a measure of your ability. So I think that employers should be looking at your resume, the things you've done in college, your GPA, and things like that, and your interview, not what you do on some exit exam.
Yeah, and if your cover letter's got a bunch of grammatical errors and a half dozen spelling mistakes, it probably tells the employer that there's an issue here, right?
Yeah, but Yolanda, you bring up a good point, and maybe there are some jobs, maybe in engineering or the medical field, where that exit exam might be more important. I can tell you where my son was. They just graduated in May. I mean, he had checked out, you know, had already thought, you know, I'm getting this job and I'm going in that direction. So any final exam, it was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't, to me, this doesn't just tell you whether you're going to be a good employee or not.
And you're paying all this money for the education, you want to pay for one more exam.
Yeah. All right, well, coming.
Now more of what's hot and our viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we're joined by Yolanda White and Jeff Wagner of 620 WTMJ. Well, an airline allows you to pay a little extra to scoot away from the kids. Singapore Airline allows passengers to pay about $14 extra to a ticket for more leg room and a promise that no kids under 12 will be near you. Would you pay extra to move your seat away from children on a plane? We're talking $14. That's not a lot. It's not so much being next to the kid. I don't know about the kid behind me. That
the one that's kicking your seat. Yeah, that's the. And then you turn around, you look at mom, you give her that dirty look, and mom just looks the other way, and you go, "Make your kids stop it." I was on a flight back from Las Vegas, and this a couple weeks ago, and interestingly, sitting right on the aisle across from me was a husband and wife with a very young child who screamed for 3.5 hours. I like kids. I would have paid $14 in that particular situation.
Just to get a little bit further away. I like the whole idea of $14 for extra leg room. That's something that I need.
Right. I agree. I think that when you're a parent, you have to be cognizant of the fact that everybody doesn't believe what you believe about letting your child cry, or that they'll just cry and get over it. On a plane, it's really kind of tight for all of us. So I'd pay $15, $20 to be away from a baby.
Yeah, I think at the cost, I mean, if people had that option, and I think a lot of people would opt for the option. And I know as a parent, when our child was young, I always kind of felt bad about, you know, people next.
I'm sympathetic for the screaming, because that's hard to stop. But when you have kids that are, you know, throwing things or kicking chairs.
But you know what would happen to us, Charles? You know, our luck is we would pay that money. You know, we'd be in the kid-free zone, which would end in like row 15. Row 16 would be the one where you got the 10-year-old kicking your seat.
That's where I think it gets dicey. You know, you pay the money and then you go, well, 2 rows back is not enough. Let's move on to our lightning round. Summer is almost over for many of us. That means hitting the pool, the beach. But what if your office planned a company outing that included water? Would you wear a swimsuit in front of your coworkers?
I would. Absolutely, I know that I would, but I'd warn them first that I was going to wear a swimming suit, and people could take the day off if they wanted to, but I think it's hot. I mean, what else are you going to put on but a swimming suit? I might not wear a two-piece, but I definitely would wear a suit.
Hey, you invite me to a party, you know, you get what you deserve. You're talking about a guy who's a Jimmy Buffett fan, and most of the guys show up.
Oh, my gosh.
Jeff in the bathing suit.
Well, absolutely, yeah, that was the one. And then there's the other one where you show up with the coconut brassiere and the grass skirt. You know, but it's a good look regardless.
You know what, Today Show did a poll. I just looked at it online. And the way women and men break down with their answers, Yolanda, different than what you said. Women, 28% said yes, 72% said no. For the men, it was 58% yes, 42% no.
Hey, can we see that picture of me again? You know, in the
No.
the bathing suit.
No.
No. Okay. All right.
He wants to bask in the.
Absolutely.
I never
Yeah.
looked like
Well,
that
I have been
days.
working out. I have been working out.
I would say there are coworkers I wouldn't mind seeing in their bathing
Be
suits.
careful.
You would not be one of them, Jeff
And
Wagner.
that comment is exactly why I wouldn't.
Yeah. Be careful there.
Without
Yeah.
getting into
I'm just
more
saying
specifics.
coworkers. I didn't say,
understand. Okay.
And, you know, I know Brian got her right now switching into his Speedo so that we can, you know, talk about him.
Yeah, and I think that honestly, if you are going to wear a suit, there needs to be a ban on certain things like Speedos.
Yeah. Yeah, that would not
There
be
should
good.
be a little something disclaimer at the bottom of the invite.
Yeah, well, like we always say, Wagner's rule of life number 3, just because they make it in your size doesn't mean you should buy it. That especially applies to swimwear.
I would agree. I would agree.
All right. Good discussion there. And we can continue the What's Hot discussion on this hot day online. Find that page at tmj4.com/hot.